Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. Pennant Madness is getting the best of everyone. The Angels, best in the West, but can't pull away. The Twins keep fighting and hope for the best. The Reds get the best of the Houston Astros. The Pirates keep moving their best feet forward. Two of baseball's best call it a career. And George Brett's best might not be enough. The best of Major League headlines and highlights coming up on This Week in Baseball. Brought to you by Gillette. When it comes to personal grooming, most people come to Gillette, makers of new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro-smooth edges make it a better shave.
Sold out again.
The new improved Gillette Track 2, please.
Yeah, say, who needs improved when these twin blades will do?
Track 2 has micro-smooth edges. Makes the blade smoother than ever.
Shave better than these?
Better, safer, smoother, and comfortable.
Comfort, schmumfort, you don't have... But...
Do you have the new improved Gillette Track 2?
Improved Track 2? Improved Track 2?
The new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro-smooth edges make it a better shave.
You know, trying to run a Major League Baseball club isn't all fun and games.
The pressure's always on. And for guys like us, there's no off-season.
So when you wheel and deal as much as we do, you can't afford to get filled up.
That's why we drink light beer from Miller. It's got a third less calories than their regular beer, and it tastes great, too.
How about the trade? How about throwing in Bud Harrelson?
Let's see, Bud Harrelson, Gates Brown, and Mudcat Grant.
Right, for 2 Blue Powells and a Ferris Payne.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I want a Frank Malzone.
American League September Countdown. The Milwaukee Brewers down 11 games to Baltimore in the East, but not quite out of it, against the California Angels, up 3 games on Kansas City in the West and counting backwards. Don Baylor, California's crutch in the clutch, has been counting up the RBIs all year. In the Angels' opening game win in Milwaukee, Baylor added 2 more to raise his Major League leading total to 133. But despite a hot week by Baylor, the Angels were unable to add any ground in the Western race. After dropping the opener, the Brewers took charge, winning the last 2 games, making things all the more uneasy for California. Stormin' Gorman Thomas, mean and lean in September, crashed homers 41 and 42, tops in the American League, and more than any player in the brief history of the power-hungry Brewers. Dick Davis also homered, handing Nolan Ryan his 12th loss against 15 victories. For Ryan, no wins on the road in 2.5 months. The Brewers won here, but the Angels took the season series. Milwaukee also had a better overall record, but the Angels in the Western Division were still in first place ahead of the Kansas City Royals, who just couldn't seem to key down the souped-up Seattle Mariners. Willie Wilson and the Royals set out to show the Mariners that Kansas City has no speed limit on the bases, particularly during the final heat of the pennant race. But the Mariners soon devised methods to control Kansas City traffic while arresting the Royals' pennant progress. Helping to apply the brakes on Kansas City, Seattle's second sacker, Julio Cruz. Cruz also accelerated the Mariners' offense. Other Mariners, like rookie Rodney Craig, also put the heat on Kansas City as Seattle stole 2 of 3 from the Royals in their own ballpark. In fact, if not for George Brett, Seattle might have swept. This 11th inning game-winning homer was not only Brett's 4th hit, but his 200th of the year and 100th RBI. He later became only the 5th player ever to join the 20-20-20 club. 21 homers, 20 triples, 41 doubles. Now that's 82 extra base hits, but not enough to shake the Minnesota Twins, who, much like an uninvited couple in an old-time dance marathon, stubbornly refused to fall out of the competition. As long as a team like the Royals fails to take matters into its own hands, a team like the Twins has a chance to make a surprising last-second grab at the pennant.
We're just going to have to use the skills that we've acquired and progression that we've made in playing winning baseball and just continue to do that and be aggressive and take our game to people and just get all the runs that we can and just play every game like it's our last one.
The Twins had been given up for dead when they fell 6.5 off the pace, but after splitting 4 games in Kansas City and taking 3 out of 4 in Texas, they closed the gap to 4. A team that was supposed to be down and out, but getting up on its feet and very much alive.
Don't count us out because I think we have a great deal of athletes here. We have some fine ball players. Although we're young, I think we're still capable of hanging in there with the rest of them.
Despite Gene Mauch's reputation as a brilliant managerial strategist, he's never won a pennant. Now in his 20th big league season, Mauch's team has stayed close, scrapping for runs any way it can. And when youngsters like Danny Goodwin provide an occasional long ball, the manager can't complain. And as long as Mike Marshall can add to his 30 saves, Gene Mauch and the Twins can keep those hopes alive. Even if they don't win it, who would have thought they'd even be in it? Now it's time for this week's Volkswagen Quiz. Keith Hernandez of the St. Louis Cardinals not only leads the National League in batting, but drove in 98 runs while hitting only 10 homers. Only one player since 1950 has driven in 100 runs with 10 or fewer homers. Can you name him? Stay tuned.
That Volkswagen Rabbit really handles. Is that why you're driving it?
Not really.
Well, is it because it can go from 0 to 50 in 8.3 seconds? But then why are you driving a Rabbit?
Because it has more headroom than my Rolls Royce.
Is that such a big deal?
It is. If you will, Chamberlain.
Volkswagen does it again.
National League West. The Houston Astros visit Cincinnati for the biggest pressure series in their history. James Rodney Richard, baseball's hottest pitcher, matched the power of his fastball against the savvy and experience of Reds ace Tom Seaver.
Tom Seaver, he is the leader of the pitching staff, and we definitely need his consistent performances to be a contender.
Seaver, 12 wins out of 13 versus Richard, 9 out of 10. A pitching duel deluxe in a battle for first. At least for 3 innings, the game was scoreless. But after that, nothing but the unexpected. Good breaks turned into bad. Would-be singles turned into surprise outs. Even extra base hits turned into outs. Not that the hitters didn't get their fair shakes. The Astros not only KO'd Seaver, but collected 17 hits and 8 runs. Now that's a real barrelful for a team that's last in the league in runs scored. The Reds not only knocked out James Rodney, but also relief ace Joe Sambito, the pitcher with the league's best ERA. Dave Concepcion's 2-run homer gave the Reds the lead in a 9-8 victory. Reliever Tom Hume won that crazy game and saved the next one with help from Cesar Geronimo. What a way to end the ball game. The new Red Machine had a 1.5 game lead over the Astros.
What we try to do, whether it's in our own division or playing in the Eastern Division, is win the ball game on that given night and then not worry about what anybody else does.
The Reds then moved on to Los Angeles, where they lost the opener, but bounced back to take charge. Trailing 1-0 in the second game, the Reds tied it in the 8th, and then Dan Dreesen, with 2 gone in the 9th, smashed the winner. Just far enough. Cincinnati went on to win the final game 2-0, leaving the Dodgers a wee bit frustrated. Meanwhile, the Astros were in San Francisco trying to keep their bubble from bursting. The Reds had applied the pressure. Would this mean confusion for the young Houston team? Well, not for Vern Rule, who shut out the Giants in the opener. An impressive performance indeed, especially for a pitcher just off the disabled list. It was an emotional lift for Houston, but it didn't last long because the disappointing Giants have had great success gunning down both the Reds and Astros this year. Trailing 3-0 the next day, San Francisco staged a rally in the bottom of the 8th. Relief ace Joe Sambito was called on once again by manager Bill Burden to calm things down. With 2 men on and the winds swirling in Candlestick Park, Larry Herndon did his share of damage with a fly ball, and the wind did the rest. Two Giants scored as San Francisco rallied for 5 runs and a 5-3 victory. Greg Minton saved it and then picked up a 2-1 victory the next day in a game won in the 9th inning. The Giants followed that with a win over Cincinnati. keeping the kettle steaming in the National League West. It was boiling over in the East, where the Pittsburgh Pirates and Montreal Expos were billboarding one of the hottest pennant battles in recent years. Both Pittsburgh and Montreal were winning at such a fast pace that neither team could take a breather. Certainly the Mets wouldn't allow any breathers, so the Pirates had to keep their mojos working overtime. In fact, the last place Mets have beaten the first place Pirates 8 times this season, and no team has done it more. It took former Met Tim Foley's 3 hits and 2 RBIs for the Bucks to pull out the opener of the 2-game series, a hard-fought 5-4 contest. And in that game, signs of distress were still flashing in the ninth as relief ace Kent DeCalby finally cooled a Mets rally and recorded his 28th save. But in the other game, Lee Mazzilli extended his hitting streak to 18 games with 2 hits and the game-winning RBI, a 3-0 New York victory. Rookie reliever Neil Allen saved it for the Mets with help from a pitcher's best friend. The Pirates remained slightly ahead of Montreal, but they were sure glad to say goodbye to those nasty Mets. Now back to this week's Volkswagen quiz, brought to you by the 79 Rabbit Dasher in Scirocco. Volkswagen does it again. Since 1950, only the Dodgers' Wes Parker has driven in 100 runs with 10 or fewer home runs. In 1970, Parker hit 10 homers, driving in 111. Next week, Volkswagen will ask you again.
Pa, are you sold out of my Gillette Track 2 blades again? Never happened when I ran the store.
These other twin blades will do.
Hogswoggle. Gillette Track 2's micro-smooth blades shave me better.
But these'll fit your Track 2 handle.
Handle schmandle. Gillette Track 2 shaves safer, smoother, and comfortable.
But, Pa...
Guess I buy my Track 2 blades someplace else.
To guys who use Gillette Track 2, no other blade will do.
Hello, everybody. This is Mel Allen. How'd you like to win $5,000 in a 1-week all-expense-paid trip for 2 to spring training? Well, you can by entering the Rolaids Relief Man Sweepstakes. Just pick up an entry blank and official rules at participating stores featuring any of these special Rolaids displays. It's easy. Anyone can enter. No purchase necessary. Make sure your entry is received by January 3rd, 1980. And good luck. Hope to see you at spring training. It's often said an elephant never forgets. Well, if he's been watching This Week in Baseball this season, he'll certainly remember these great defensive plays. First, left fielder Jerry Turner of San Diego. Next, patrolling first, Bill Buckner of the Cubs. Flying in from right field, Claudell Washington of the White Sox. Ranging at second base, Rob Wilfong of Minnesota. Challenging Wrigley Field's wall of ivy in center field, Jerry Martin of the Cubs. Tripping lightly at shortstop, Greg Pryor of the White Sox. In left center, the Montreal connection, Andre Dawson to Warren Cromartie. Extraordinary. And finally, scaling the heights in right, Gary Matthews of Atlanta. Fans won't forget plays like those, and they won't forget a name like Catfish Hunter. In his last Fenway Park appearance, the Cat received a standing ovation, believed to be the last such Boston tribute paid an opposing player since Joe DiMaggio. Jim Hunter was signed in 1964 by the Kansas City Athletics for $75,000 and never pitched in the minor leagues. In 1968, he proved to fans he was something special when he threw the major's last perfect game. Charlie Finley, Maverick owner of Oakland's Amazing A's, had nicknamed Hunter Catfish, and in the early 70s, Finley's A's helped Oakland make history. Catfish was brilliant. 4 20-win seasons, a Cy Young Award, 4 World Series wins, and 3 Championship Series victories. Hunter led the A's to 4 divisional titles and 3 straight World Championships. But after that, a contract dispute made Catfish Hunter first a free agent and then a New York Yankee, pitching his 5th straight 20-win season, accomplished by only 2 other American leaguers. Then, after becoming only the 4th pitcher this century to win 200 games before age 31, Hunter developed arm trouble, but came back to win 9 of 11 stretch games last year, sparking the remarkable Yankee comeback. New Yorkers extended their thanks this week with a special day at Yankee Stadium for the 8-time All-Star and much-loved Jim Catfish Hunter, retiring from baseball at age 33. Baseball will miss you, Catfish, and will also miss Lou Brock, honored with a similar day in St. Louis. Number 20 first came to the Cardinals in 1964, quickly helping them to a world championship. Brock hit .391 in 3 World Series, the highest lifetime series average of any player ever. Larcenous Lou also set a series record with 7 steals in 1967 and did it again in '68. His biggest year, 1974, when at the age of 35, he smashed Maury Will's single-season base-stealing record, a grand total of 118. Brock was again the focus of attention in 1977, when he broke Ty Cobb's career mark of 892 steals. Then last month, Brock became the 14th player in history to reach 3,000 career hits. Lou Brock, already in the record books and soon to be in the Hall of Fame, retiring from baseball at age 40. Other grand old men not quite ready to retire who have enjoyed banner seasons. Boston's Carl Yastrzemski, also 40, followed Brock just this month with his 3,000th hit. The Dodgers' Manny Mota, age 41, who collected career pinch hit number 145, breaking the record held by Smokey Burgess. San Francisco's Willie McCovey, age 41, who smashed career homer number 512, more than any left-handed hitter in National League history. San Diego's Gaylord Perry, also 41, who passed Bob Gibson to rank second on the all-time strikeout list. And finally, Pete Rose, the recipient of this week's Gillette Special. Age 38, but some kind of hot. 21 hits and 30 at-bats, boosting his batting average 20 points to .332. Just 9 hits away from passing Ty Cobb as the first player ever to have 10 200-hit seasons. Good luck, Pete. And that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
Here's a reminder, it's English leather or nothing at all.
English leather cologne for men.